John will not be attending today.
Okay. You got a recording?
Yep.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll call July 9th transit meeting to order. Roll call. We got everyone present except for John. Approval of minutes for the June 11th.
Make that motion. I'll second.
Motion made second. Any corrections, additions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. 3, 4, 5 is on to Austin.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Of course, it's going to do it that way. Okay. The agenda today, financials. We're a month into our rural service. Some updates on the route ridership. I do have an electric bus update. And any question? Yeah, that's why I put it at the end. So, 2025 financials, we're through a little over 6 months with about 47%. 47% left. So just over the cusp through 6 months. A few one-off purchases. My mouse tracking is a little slow, but service contracts, 12 to 18,006 for the year. With these GPS PEP wave routers that show where our bus is at, and us turning on the Wi-Fi option for those on deciding to do that late last year. That's where a lot of the extra costs came from. And that was just an upfront payment for the year on that. And then our radio, our closed CB radio service, they weren't billing us for about a year, and we didn't realize it. They didn't realize it. And when we said, hey, we need to do radios in our 2 transit buses, then it brought up those. So then we paid those up, and that's what went into that as well. Not a huge monthly cost, but just back paying that. Brought that. Fuel, we're sitting actually pretty well versus previous years. For the year, we're normally looking at previous years close to 50,000 for the year. I think we're going to be real close to a $35,000 budget. And other than that, everything business as usual. Sitting with 25% or so of our repair and maintain motor vehicles left. Some one-off costs that we've incurred that just pulley maintenance on 3 of these buses, and about $1,000 a piece to do those. So those will be good for pretty much the lifespan of the rest of the service life of those buses. Knock on wood. But but things still looking good, and we should, like I say, every month, June, July, and August, we have a lot less payroll. We have 3 buses on the road instead of 5 every day. So we bank savings through the summer. Our rural service. We're not going to have our first rider as of now till 7/22. She was going to be our first rider at the beginning of June. A rider out of Wheeler, and she ended up having some health issues, so she had to push back her first ride to this next month. But as of now, we have a rider and riding here in a couple weeks from the Wheeler area into town to Walmart. Community route update. I showed this slide last month as well. Everything's going extremely well on these few changes that we made. pulling into CVTC campus, pulling into the government center. And big thing, coming to the library at 30 minutes after the hour and still maintaining that clock tower. While the construction was going on at Pine down at Wakanda Park, we were coming out, taking a left onto Elm, up and Tanner and back. That was not feasible with adding these couple extra stops for especially some of our newer drivers to stay on schedule, which we're not looking to rush them and we're not looking to get behind schedule or have them speed anything like that. With how many riders get off at Oak and Tanner and Elm and Tainter, those two dots on the green line, the thought process was to go back to just going up Tanner like we always have, and that maintains a little bit more of the buffer in our schedule. Or using the blue line like it is and going onto Wolski Bay Road at the public library and going up Wilson all the way to Walmart, Cedar Falls Road. But obviously riders can walk a few extra blocks here, but most of these riders that are getting off, they're visiting these businesses to the west or the northwest of the route. So I think we're going to have issues with happiness of riders if we go to Wilson. It does maintain us not stopping on a busy road, but in my opinion, the best way to move forward for the few people that we do pick up and drop off at the library is staying on Broadway and going to Tanner. Or we move everything to Wilson. But I think it's better the way we have it now. You know, you go to Eau Claire and you go to Oak Hills Parkway Road over by Buffalo Wild Wings there. That's a 35-mile-an-hour road, just like this, coming down a hill. And there's a bus stop right on the right side of the road. This is after an intersection with a lot less of a grade coming downhill around a corner. So, but I don't recommend us going on Wolski Bay Road, taking a left on Elm, going up to Oak and back. So, and if we went up here, took a left onto Oak, then you add 5 stoplights instead of 0.
Mm.
So that defeats the purpose of it too. So my opinion is we maintain what we've had, or if we want to make this change and go straight up Wilson, and then people just don't have to understand it and adapt. And if they want to go to these places, they get off at Marketplace and they walk across at those crosswalks on Broadway. That's fine too. This would get us closer to Wakanda Park. A great goal would be to go into Wakanda with that bus route, but there's not time in that route now. But this gets us, 1, 2, 3 blocks closer, right at the top of the hill. If we stop up here, this is all residential, so we'd have people getting off the bus in people's lawn, curbside. Yeah, I do like this route, but with how many people get off there, it's kind of a hard change to make. Any opinions on that?
Is there, I understand about the timing and this crowd is ludicrous, but did we nix the going on Wolski Bay Road and turning in Lakeside? And coming back out and going up? I know that adds time that probably don't have.
Yeah.
Because it just that with the potential riders at the library include, children and folks. And also I hate it when the bus stopped on the right lane. You can see it if you're at the stoplight, but it just seems like the library being part of a city service as a city rep, that would be a valid stop. And if we could turn around in Lakeside and come back out instead of going up, then we can still have those other two.
I don't think that we would. I think it would be a better idea to take a left on Elm out to Oak like we've been doing, if we would do that. The only idea with maintaining Tainter is time. So if we're not losing any stops here, so if we went back out to here, it would still be faster to take this route up. And then you're not going back onto the main road, but I definitely don't love Broadway either. I'm maintaining that.
So why aren't we, is that, I can't remember this.
Yep, so that's Elm up
So
here,
why aren't we turning left on?
because this takes too much time.
Yeah, okay.
With us adding the library stop at the middle of the hour. And pulling into Government Center, pulling into CVTC.
Long term, I mean, there's real estate there, long term, a cutout on Broadway.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking at, there's a big grassy median.
Oh, yeah, it's just,
But that's state highway, so that's part of state highway project.
Yeah. If we could get riders used to Wilson, Oak, Wilson and Elm. This is, if we weren't turning left on Elm, this would be this blue line would be just fine.
But those two stops are too important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
the
there's so
only-
many businesses that,
Yep. And then if we go up Wilson all the way, and we take a left, then we go back onto Broadway. The whole idea of my thought process behind the community route is getting to as many areas of residential of Menominee that we can. And then if we take a left on Oak, then we're removing that whole area of housing by the North Fire Station, even though nobody gets on there. Yet. We always say yet. Nobody used to use the Elm and Tainter bus stop, and now they are. So
It's a delicate balance, because you got 30 seconds or a minute here, you want to keep to that hour, because that hour is proven to build ridership.
yeah.
So you gotta stay within that framework.
And it's gotta be consistent.
Yep, yeah, if you spill outside that, then people.
Yep.
Turn off to it.
Yep. Any other?
The people getting off at Elm and
Mhm.
where are they generally going
They're-
towards
They're
the,
going to Dollar Tree, they're going to Caribou Coffee, they're going to work at Best Western, Taco John's. Again,
that's.
look at how close this bus stop is.
That's allowed.
Agreed,
I mean, to be, if that's where they're going,
agreed. Or across
There's
on
only
the
other way to
4 lane
Yeah.
on Broadway. Yeah,
So, and what's the north one?
Tanner and Oak. And then that's a very nice spot because that's a strip mall with,
Yeah.
it's a very quiet street versus Wilson. And we drop off right at that intersection.
It's backside of the gas station is
Yep,
now.
yeah, actually 1 block over.
Yeah.
Right behind Best Western and then right in front of Ties, yep.
Yeah.
So. When it. Maintain this, and if other ideas come up, we talk about them.
maintain the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The drivers are instructed to put their hazards on well before the intersection. When I'm on that route doing it, I'm worrying about the tablet and stuff at the next stop sign, punching in the money, that sort of thing. That way we just get the rider on, get going. Yodec units on the buses, we've talked about this for a year. it's a good time to put it in place now that we have the PEP waves. Whole reasoning behind getting the Wi-Fi on the PEP waves, these are our GPS units in the buses, is so we can wirelessly transmit to these Yodeck units. And then the other idea was for a stout external card reader or the credit card readers that we are transit didn't make it on the cut list for the new contract for the credit card machines, but also they would not be very economically feasible for riders unless they were buying tokens in bulk with a minimum of, I think, $3.95 per swipe. Based on, they're using this stuff for people paying taxes, big ticket things. So that was a no-go for now from accounting. But positive of this is still the Yodeck units. You pay for one subscription because it's the same thing posted on each bus or in all buses, and we can update these wirelessly from our computer, update all buses at once wirelessly. So this is something we've talked about for a year, and it's a good time to do it.
You're gonna put those in the bus, like
These
up in that red dash, or
these are very small. They're not much bigger than the size of a phone, and they just connect via HDMI to the back of these TVs.
oh,
And-
yeah, sure.
They're very slim.
You're already aware of it.
Yep. Yeah, so it should be a pretty plug and play. And then just getting trained up from Krista and the team over there on these. But Jake looked into these, and they're doing a promotion right now that if you buy a 1-year subscription, you at least get one of these units for free. So that should take some costs down too. Doorstop and Red Cedar ridership in June, sitting at 531. If you look back at these previous years, ever since 2020, it's become the best it's ever been, minus a few of these 2016, 2017, 2018, but right in line with 2019. Red Cedar and Doorstop ridership, looking good there. Community route ridership, the best month of June that it's had, and the one coming in second was 2023, and that was when that bus route was free. So still the best ridership, and we're getting a small income from it. So this is, part of this is just more people understanding and knowing about the route, but also us keeping it efficient and getting people where they actually need to go. There's so many more people that are riding from these rural areas or residential areas and some of these areas in Menominee that we used to never pick up at. So keeping it efficient so we get them where they need to go. An electric bus update. I had a call last week with WisDOT as well as Bay Area Transit because none of us have received a response from Phoenix Bus. But when Bay Area Transit calls Phoenix Bus to get their chargers worked on because they have broken on them, they get on a phone call. So the service department does. So that was interesting to hear. WisDOT is now reaching out to FTA on our options moving forward. We have a down payment sent out to the Phoenix Bus. Bay Area Transit just sent or signed a purchase order for this. So I went back in our notes with accounting. Our chargers are paid for here. WisDOT has reimbursed us for all of our charger payments, but we have money out on the table for the down payments, the 20% on these two buses. So I voiced that in our call and our frustrations with this this project, and from our feedback from the group on the delays and our aging bus fleet. And On our gas bus procurement, those awards should be coming out in the next couple weeks, I would hope. And they finally opened up Q1 and Q2 for the year for us to submit our ridership and financials. It's always pretty back and loaded. WisDOT just went to a whole new accounting system. So there were some delays there on their end. Now those are open. And that is the electric bus update. At least, WisDOT understands our frustration, as well as when the FTA gives WisDOT a grant and WisDOT isn't moving forward with that grant in close to 5 years now, they don't look great either. So they're taking some initiative in this as well, which they should be. The main liaison for WisDOT, who built this project from the ground up in 2018, he retired a year ago. So the other guys that have came in to this project, this Lono grant project, don't know how in depth this is really going on for. We've voiced our opinions, but it's not the same as Steve, who ran this program from WisDOT, who's not here anymore. So,
Well, wouldn't there be like financial records of actions that have happened already that are passed on? I mean, I guess people retire and stuff, but I mean, this is like you said, a big project. We're not the only ones involved with it. Nothing's happened for 4 or 5 years, like we just mentioned, and they should be able to look at their records and say, oh, Dunn County's paid this much money as a down payment already, and this county's paid this much, and this county this much, and be like, there's got to be a lot of money tied up, or already put into play to make this all happen. And
our purchase orders go straight to the vendor. So, and then we don't get reimbursed till we submit our receipts at the end of the completed project. So they probably, don't see some of that, but
so I think what I'm hearing you say is it's still on us to keep proactive with pushing and staying in touch with the different entities that are involved, like WisDOT and what'd you say,
FTA, yeah, they haven't been notified, I don't think, of this, and now they will be,
Okay.
of what are our options? Can we let this one go? I don't think, or Ian from WisDOT said, I really don't think we'd get a slap on the wrist or anything like that, talking for WisDOT, of letting this grant go back, if that was the route we wanted to go. But there's just a bunch of unknowns there. And I would assume that I'll have an update from
I guess my
next month.
I guess my thought process and why I brought this up was, seems like we're at a position or a point where we have to make a decision with where our current fleet is headed. How can we get our money back, or how does that work? So that we can, reassess what direction we're going to go in, whatever direction that is. Or is this money going to be lost money, or are we going to be on the hook for another 3 years to see if this comes forward? I guess, and maybe you don't know these. I'm guessing you don't know these answers, or you probably would have told us, but I'm just voicing my frustration with,
I don't think that the company wants to move forward with this project anymore, because the cost of
that's
these
my
units
sense too, I guess.
has gone up so much, because they complained about it about a year ago, saying the cost of these units have gone up 70,000, and we're still charging you the same. So we want to honor our contract. That's what they said a year ago, and think about now.
Yeah.
And these are $250,000, $300,000 units now each. That they probably don't want to say it, but we take a loss so much on this that they're trying to, I don't know, but
Is it possible after you said there's Ian and somebody else stuff, when they have their talk with FTAs to discuss with them, ask if there's a potential strategy just to start reaching out to, or boards like us and area could reach out to state and federal legislators to put some pressure. And the other thing on Bay Area, Secretary of Transportation was the DA up there. I mean, so there's a local twist. And maybe being able to apply some pressure to get this moving forward. I understand, I mean, I've been on this board for as long as this project's been around. I mean, there was COVID, and then there's the Buy America clause within, right? So batteries had to be made in the US. That was problematic. And then the bus manufacturers changed, right? Within this project. It was originally a different bus manufacturer. So I get a lot of the hangups, but it's also time to apply some pressure to see if we can get this thing on the
I think we've been more than accommodating.
Yeah.
On this.
I think that's what legislators on the state federal level for at times is to have them squeak the wheel a little bit.
And I think that's what will be done here in the next few weeks from if the FTA gets involved.
I have fleet concerns too, but I also have concerns that a lot of time, effort, infrastructure is in place. And I've watched, like you said, now this year diesel's pretty decent, but I've watched that budget fluctuate greatly, and I've watched thousands of dollars go out the door for maintenance on diesel engines when stuff goes bad. I do think these buses have a real merit within our routes because our routes are pretty defined. I think they really bring a lot of value to the operation.
I'll report back 4 weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank you for all the questions, comments, concerns on.
Questions that, we went from 5 buses down to 3 buses. Are a couple of guys like laid off in the summertime then? Because they all are working for the county.
Yeah, we have, you could say seasonal workers,
Okay.
but they're all part-time, fully employed, drivers for us. They work a shift or 2 a week during the summer, or a shift every other week to maintain their benefits that they have with us. And then they work for other companies, or they're semi-retired. They take most of the summers off and drive a lot more during the school year. So that's the beauty of, I guess, the group that we got. They're very flexible schedule-wise. That's very appreciated. Otherwise, when I first started, it seemed like we were always looking for new people to start. When I started, we had 3 drivers total, and this stout route started up in 2 weeks from then. So that's a situation that we don't want to put ourselves in. And now we have a group of about 11. So that part-time flexibility really helps us.
Especially we got a lot of where it's hard to get help. You see a lot of places they all want help, and you got that there. Is it a lot easier to keep help once they are part of the county? Is it easier because once they get in, especially full-time ones, I would think that'd be a little more incentive for them to stay in.
Yeah, our driver retention and just employee retention at transit, it's been almost on average 5+ years.
Mm.
So we just added we lost 1 full-time driver who was with us for about 3, and just added Ron Kistner, if you know him at all, or Hoss in the Boyceville area. He just started, and his 3rd day is today. So a great part-time driver for us who drives for Boyceville School District as well. So
All right.
that's what I got.
Any other questions? If not, on 7 or 8. Next meeting is August 13th.
His birthday.
And it's on his birthday.
Dustin will have to bring donuts.
So Dustin's bringing more. Otherwise, meeting's adjourned.